everyone. Very good morning to all of you students. Welcome back to the session of the subject Building Construction Technology. This is Ishani Trivedi from LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. So getting back to the session of the module which we were discussing, that was PCC and RCC construction, right? Till now we have discussed about the various stages, various steps involved in manufacturing of concrete. Now again, to be quick, we have the manufacturing stages or manufacturing processes are batching, mixing, transporting, placing, compacting and curing, right? These are the basic stages involved in the manufacturing of concrete. Its manufacture, its placing and its finishing. Okay, we have been already done with the first two processes, that was batching and mixing. Today let us move forward with the next process of manufacture of concrete, that is your transportation, right? Transporting of concrete. Now as we know that once the mixing process is done, once the fresh concrete is prepared, it has to be placed in the whatsoever structural member, it has to be filled up in the forms, in the molds, right? So if the manufacturing is done at the ground floor and you have to go to the upper stories for the filling of the concreting work or placing the concrete, or it may be having a certain amount of distance which may be happening in almost all cases. So you will have to transport the concrete. Now for transporting the concrete, first of all, the most simple type can be done with the help of workmen, with the help of labor. They will transport the concrete in the by filling in the mortar pans, right? You can see over here the first image flashing on the top, that is an example of a pan. You can call it as a mortar pan or a mortar tray also. So with the help of workers and laborers, they will carry it and they will transport it to the required site. Now this transportation, this type can be done only when you are dealing with small scale concreting work, small scale production, right? Large distances, then you will have to you will require different type of transporting methods, transporting ways. So what else do we have? Instead of the mortar pan, you can use the wheelbarrows or the wheel carts, which is also flashing over here, the second image on the right side. That is an example of a trolley. You can call it as a wheelbarrows and wheel carts also, and you can transport the concrete with the help of that. The workmen, the laborers will transport that. Apart from that, when we go to large mass concreting works, then we have different types of transporting equipment like trucks and dumper. We have pumps and pipelines also. When you want to go for higher storage buildings, pipelines will be useful. Then in the mountainous regions, we have the ropeways also. Then you can use cranes also for the transportation of concrete. I think all of the methods are flashing over here. We have a truck mixer, we have belt conveyors. Now belt conveyor is also used when you want to transport concrete at a speedy rate, and also when you are dealing with high-rise buildings, high-rise structures, and the concrete is available from a greater distance, right? But great care should be taken when you are transporting the concrete. There should be no amount of segregation or bleeding process in the concrete work. It means the separating out of the ingredients. When the concrete mix takes lots of turns in the pipelines and belt conveyors, it can happen that sometimes the materials get segregate outside. It should not happen. And also there is a time limit for transporting concrete. It should be taken care that it does not start hardening. Its premature hardening has not to take place when you are transporting it. So on time it has to be delivered and it has to be placed. So within 90 minutes gap, this mixing and placing and transporting work has to be done at the most in 90 minutes of span of time. Next we are discussing the next stage, that is the placing of concrete. Once the transportation is done, once we are reached to the site, then we will carry out the process known as placing. Now while placing of concrete, great care has to be taken, precautions have to be taken. If you are filling, if you are placing the concrete in foundation, if you are placing for a masonry wall, if you are placing for a beam column or a slab or any vertical members, to differentiate it vertical and horizontal members. So while placing the concrete, precautions have to be taken. You have to make sure that your formwork, your form is clean, it is washed. You have to place step by step in layers of around 10 centimeter, and simultaneously compaction has also to be done, which we are discussing further after this step. So while placing the concrete, care has to be taken. You should not pour the concrete fully immediately in one go. Step by step, layer by layer, concreting work has to be done. So based on different conditions, different types of placing and its precaution can be done. You can do it manually, you can do it directly from the pipeline, you can have any method for placing of concrete. Some of the methods you are seeing over here, that how it is placed with the help of pipelines. This will be even used in the mass concreting work, and it will be also speedy. Next, we are moving forward to the next stage of construction, that is manufacturing of concrete, known as compaction. Now, I am giving you a simple example. Okay, for what if you have a container in which you want to fill up grains, suppose rice grains, right? Now, as you fill up the grains in the container, it is going to get filled up to the top. Then what you will do is, if you want to still accommodate more rice grains, you are going to tap it, you are going to tap the container, right? Because of that, what will happen? The voids which will be there between the grains will start getting closely packed to each other, and hence at top more space will be visible, more space will be coming, right? This particular method of closely packing the structure, closely filling the voids with the material itself, that is known as compaction. Same is the case over here. When the concreting is done, when one layer of concrete is placed, then simultaneous you will have to provide compaction. This will cause, what will it cause? It will make the aggregates, there will be voids between the stone aggregates, so it will help the cement paste to get filled up between the voids, and hence make a uniform composite, continuous material, right? So how will you carry out the compaction? We have two different methods for carrying out the compaction work. We have hand compaction and we have compaction by vibration. Now look at the image, the first image flashing, the first one on the left side. You can see that a slump test is being carried out over there. You can see that a rod is held by the worker, and the rod will be tamped inside. This is your first method of hand compaction, known as tamping. Hand compaction can be done in three ways: rodding, ramming and tamping. Right? It means you are going to blow strikes. You are going to strike the concrete with the help of tamping rods, which will be available in different size and shapes. And you will fill up the concrete, you will fill up the space in between and carry out the compaction. On the other hand, we have the compaction by vibration, in which vibratory force will be given to the concrete. So if you insert a vibratory force at particular point, then the surrounding concrete will settle down and the space and the voids will get filled inside. You can do directly inside the concrete, you can provide indirect also, and you can provide full vibration to the mold also. So based on that, compaction by vibration is classified as internal vibration, external vibration, then you have screed or surface vibrator, and the last will be your table vibrator. The image you can see over here is, the first image you can see is your tamping rod. The second image you can see is your ramming method, in which flat rammer will be used. This is generally done for the flat sections, for the floor, for the road slabs. For that, this is more desirable. And the image which you can see at the bottom is an example of a vibrator, right? You can see a needle rod is attached at the end, and it is fixed to a motor. So once you will start it, it will create vibration, and this is your example of an internal vibrator. It will be poked inside the concrete and vibration will take place and surrounding concrete will be settled. But great care has to be taken that while carrying out the compaction by vibration, you should not over compact the concrete. Otherwise, what will happen is, because of excessive vibration, the water will come upside and the material will get segregated downwards. So it has to be taken care. For a particular place, only for 3 to 4 seconds of compaction vibration has to be provided for particular point. You can cover the whole area by poking the needle at different places. Then we have is external vibrator. Now, in the external vibrator, vibration will not be directly given into the concrete, but it will be given to the formwork. By providing vibration to the forms, the vibration will be indirectly transferred via the reinforcement bars to the concrete member. Next, we have is screed vibrator or surface vibrators. Surface vibrator, I think you can see the image also over here. The bottom image is an example of a surface vibrator. It is moved on the surface of the flat slabs and roads and bridges, and simultaneously this is also going to carry out the finishing work. And the last we have is table vibrator, which you can see over here, the clip which is running right now. That is your example of a table vibrator. Now next students, moving to the last stage with compaction, finishing will be taken simultaneously. So now we are moving to the last stage of manufacturing of concrete, that is curing. Now what is curing? It means that once the concrete is placed, once you are letting it harden enough for at least 1 to 2 days, then after what you are going to do is we have to provide water to the surface. Okay, you have to keep the surface moist. You would have observed at places that once the concreting work is done, once the mass is hardened, then you would have seen that constantly water is applied for a several period of time, for several days on the surface of the finished concrete. Now, why do you need to do this? First of all, as I told you that when cement and water combine, they are going to undergo a chemical reaction and they will release heat energy, because lime is the basic constituent of the cement. Now this heat energy which is released is known as heat of hydration. Now, because this huge amount of heat of hydration is released inside because of the hydration process of cement, it becomes necessary to keep the surface moist so that undesirable cracks do not appear, do not take place inside the concrete because of excess of heat energy which is released. So to have a complete hydration process, to make it complete and not let it stay partial or incomplete or cause any kind of damages, you will have to provide, you will have to keep the surface moist, you will have to do the curing work. Now, curing is generally done according to IS standards. You will have to do it for 7 to 10 days. And if you are going for the advanced type of curing method, that is steam curing, then the work which is obtained at 7 days will be achieved only in a matter of 1 to 2 days. So, this is the process of curing in which you have to keep the surface moist. In most cases where water is available, water curing is done directly applying the water on the surface. We also have some miscellaneous types of curing methods, in which includes the membrane curing and steam curing. You can also carry out the application of calcium chloride, that is CaCl2, right? It is also generally used as the admixture. Now in the membrane curing, instead of applying water directly to the surface in different forms, you are going to cover the surface with the help of thin films or thin layers. Can you see that in the image over here? Yes, the first image where membrane curing is written, in which your surface will be sealed, it will be protected, it will be covered with the help of a thin film which is known as membrane. This will keep the amount of heat energy to limited, it will keep it trapped inside, and it will keep the inside, the internal structure cooler as compared to the outside atmosphere. Membrane curing can be done with two types of material. You can use white compounds and you can use bituminous compound. Now bituminous compound means it will be black colored material, but if you provide a black membrane, black thin film, then again it is going to absorb more heat energy from the sun. Hence bituminous compound can be only used when you are opting membrane curing for surfaces which are not exposed to the atmosphere, like the inside of a tunnel, the lining of a tunnel, you can use over there. Otherwise white compounds can be used, which is also visible over here. And next you have is the steam curing, in which high pressure steam will be provided to the precast concrete members. This is obtained only for the precast concrete sections, not just only, but in the most cases for the precast sections steam curing is done. High pressure steam chamber will be created for the same. You can also see it can be done by open also, and this will be even a costlier process because the 7 to 10 days of curing work will be gained in just 1 day and its strength will be achieved in just 1 day. Next I am going to talk with you about the water curing. Water curing is the most common type of curing which is used all around the world, but there are also methods further in the water curing. What do we have? We have immersion, we have ponding, and we have spraying, and we also have wet covering. So if I talk about the first wet coverings, it means your surface, the finished surface, the hardened surface of concrete will be covered with jute bags, with cotton mats. You can also cover it with sand and apply water to it, hence it becomes your wet covering. If you have seen the construction of the metro right now in Ahmedabad city, then the columns which are being constructed, the piers which are being constructed are generally covered with jute bags, with jute mats, and they are kept moist, and this is how curing is done for vertical sections. Next, second we have is immersion. Immersion means you are going to put your whole sample, whole concrete member inside the water. This is an example of a curing method which is generally used for laboratory purpose also. You will find a curing tank at your institute as well. Two curing tanks are constructed where when you carry out your experimental work on cubes and cylinders and beams, and that is immersed in the water for at least 7 days. Next we have is the spraying method. Spraying means directly water is sprayed on the surface, which you can see in the first image also. And the last we have is ponding method. Can you see the bottom image over here? Yes. Can you see checks are being made? Checks means the square shaped checks are made, right? It is made with the help of providing sand. Its border is made with the sand, and water will be filled inside up to a certain depth, right? And this is how your ponding will be created on the surface. This is generally done for the horizontal surfaces where you can fill up the water, store up the water in the checks which are constructed with the help of sand, and that is your ponding method. Okay students, so this covers your full concrete manufacturing stages. Okay students, so this ends your concrete construction. In the further session we will discuss about the 3D printing technology, which is a new concept right now. Till then, go through all the lectures of the concrete work, and we will meet in the next session. Till then, thank you students.